I am Masiga Shegusembacha, together with Livingstone Kawesi, to bring you this afternoon's news in brief, live here on Channel 44. We'll start with what's happening on the continent of Africa. The foreign ministers of Mali, Guinea and Burkina Faso are in Ethiopia's capital, Addis Ababa, ahead of an African Union summit to lobby to be let back into the organization. All the three countries were suspended from the African Union and the regional grouping ECOWAS following military coups. Mali's foreign ministry said the suspensions were hindering the desire of all the three Sahel countries to make the transition back to civilian rule. The ministers will not be able to participate in the summit, but say they have met foreign ministers from the host Ethiopia and the Comoros Islands, who currently hold the presidency of the African Union. Tunisian President Kais Saied has rejected foreign interference following criticism over a recent string of arrests targeting his critics. He said the country was able to diagnose its own problems, and he said Tunisia is an independent and sovereign state, not under colonialism or protection, and its sovereignty is above all other considerations. Yesterday, the U.S. said it was deeply concerned by the reported arrests, including of politicians, business leaders, and journalists in recent days. The UN also voiced its alarm over the arrests. But yesterday, the president said he was acting in full respect of the law. He on Wednesday accused some of the detained people of being traitors, responsible for soaring price increases and several food shortages. The country has been in a deepening political and economic crisis amid protests by Tunisians increasingly frustrated with the economy and against Mr. Said Seizure of near total power. In 2021, the president shut down Tunisia's parliament and moved to rule by decree before rewriting the country's constitution. In Nigeria, in a bid to calm tension over a lack of cash in the country, President Muhammadu Buhari has announced that one of the three banknotes being phased out will be reintroduced into circulation. In recent days, there have been violent protests as people struggle to get hold of newly designed banknotes. The deadline to hand in old cash was supposed to have been last Friday, but not enough notes have been released, leaving many without cash to pay for vital items. With elections due on the 25th of February, Mr. Buhari has been facing calls to take action to avoid losing votes for the ruling All Progressives Congress party. In South Africa, the nation of South Africa is starting a joint military exercise with Russia and China that opposition figures say amounts to an endorsement of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. The U.S. has also criticized the 10-day naval drills, which will continue over the first anniversary of the war in Ukraine. But South Africa's government says it remains neutral regarding the conflict and that it routinely hosts similar drills with other countries, including France and the United States. The Mosi 2 naval exercises are taking place in the Indian Ocean off the South African coast. The South African National Defense Forces says 350 members of its armed forces will take part. Russia has announced it will send its admirable Gorshkov warship, which carries Zircon hypersonic missiles. These fly at 9 times the speed of sound and have a range of 1,000 kilometers, which is 620 miles. In the United States, President Joe Biden has said he makes no apology for shooting down an alleged Chinese spy balloon off the coast of the United States. He said the balloon was used for surveillance, but 3 objects shot down over North America were unlikely to be foreign spy crafts. The U.S. would now improve its detection of similar aerial projects. Mr. Biden also said he would speak with China's President Xi Jinping soon about this month's incident. China has denied the balloon was used for surveillance, instead saying it blew off course while collecting weather data. But Mr. Biden reiterated the view of U.S. conflict that the balloon which traversed the country at an altitude of about 40,000 feet before being from China. Still in the United States, a Georgia judge has released parts of a highly anticipated report on whether former President Donald Trump and allies broke the law in their attempts to overturn his election loss. The report summarizes a 2-year grand jury probe in their conduct after Mr. Trump narrowly lost the state in 2020. It says the grand jury believes some witnesses who weren't named committed perjury by lying under oath on the stand. Mr. Trump was never asked to testify. Dozens of witnesses, including several prominent Republicans, were interviewed by the special grand jury. Much of the brief report, pages 2 through to 7, remains hidden from the public. Only its introduction, conclusion, and a section detailing perjury concerns were released yesterday. In Europe, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has ruled out giving up any of his country's territory in a potential peace deal with Russia. In an interview to mark a year since Russia's full-scale invasion, he warned conceding land would mean Russia could keep coming back, while Western weapons would bring peace closer. Mr. Zelensky also said a predicted spring offensive had already begun. He does, however, believe Ukraine's forces can keep resisting Russia's advance until they are able to launch a counter-offensive, although he repeated his calls for more military aid from the West. And in Asia, Taiwan says it has found the remnants of what appears to be a crashed Chinese weather balloon. Taiwan's military said it had spotted an unidentified object drifting above Dongjin, a Taiwanese-controlled island off China's coast at 11 local time on Thursday. It later found a crash site on a shooting range. Initial investigations suggested the remnants were part of a meteorological instrument, according to the military. On Friday, which is today, Taiwan's Defense Minister Chi Kuo-cheng said that officials would further investigate the crashed balloon, but would not jump to conclusions. And finally, Prime Minister Rishi Sunak is in Belfast to meet local political parties, and speculation a deal on the Northern Ireland Protocol could soon be struck. Sources suggest a deal could be reached as early as next week on post-Brexit trading arrangements. Mr. Sunak will meet local party leaders today before heading on to Germany to meet EU leaders. His Foreign Secretary James Cleverly will be in Brussels today to meet the European Commission. Mr. Cleverly will meet European Commission Vice President Maros Sefcovic, the Foreign Office confirmed, saying it was part of ongoing engagement and constructive dialogue with the EU to find practical solutions that work for the people of Northern Ireland. Well, that brings us to the end of this afternoon's News in Brief. Thank you for watching Channel 44. I remind you that we are still helping the people of Karamoja live better, sleep better, and have a better life. Join us once again by sending your seed to the numbers that will be available during the services, or you can bring your seed to the Miracle Center Cathedral, the church reception. You will be given a receipt for accountability. Alternatively, you could come for the overnight service. It's going to be very powerful. There will be great encounters with the Holy Spirit, dream interpretation, healing of the sick, the word, Holy Communion, and very many other encounters that will not leave your life the same. It does open at exactly 6 p.m. So join us and your life will not remain the same again. Tell a friend to tell a friend to bring every sick person, and they will be healed. Pastor Jessica Kayanja is coming on up next with the Lunch Hour program that has blessed our lives and our souls all over the world. So join us and make sure you do not miss. Enjoy your afternoon.